questions. Yes. Go. Good.
Have you spoken directly to the family of 5-year-old Liam Ramos?
I have not spoken directly to them yet.
And what do you make of DHS Secretary Kristi Noem announcing that federal agents will begin wearing body cameras on campus?
Look, I'll just say this. Kristi Noem is the most ill-prepared and absolutely worst choice for any cabinet position we could. The idea of after three of our Minnesotans are shot, 2 murdered, all of that's happened. How about that body camera of Alex footage? I've been asking for that. I asking for the names of who did it. I'm asking for some response. This is called damage control. And the audacity after they were given $70 billion and are the 5th largest army in the world, that they're asking for more taxpayer dollars from states like Minnesota who are payer states. I put no stake in what she says at all. But here's the good thing is, every single Minnesotan has a camera. Keep filming, keep keeping track of this, keep accountability.
Governor, there seems to be a feeling among many in Minnesota that there's no path out of this, that there's no light at the end of the tunnel. Where did you leave things with Tom Homan? When's the last time you spoke to him? Is there anything
This morning.
come to the table with?
This morning, and I articulated again, we're not in a negotiation, we're not in a demand, we follow law, they know that, you've reported on that, and my expectation, not a demand, my expectation is draw down these forces, get them all out of here, give us the ability to investigate the murders of our neighbors and stop the assault on Minnesota. It would be my expectation, and it's there in their court, especially after everything that's happened here and with Liam and Elizabeth and countless faceless others who are our children, that they will address this. And it's my expectation and that we will see a dramatic shift in where this is at for the better for Minnesota starting this week. That would be my expectation. So yes, sir.
Yes, thank you, Governor Walz. There are 4 students in the Columbia Heights School District that are currently being detained in Dilley, Texas. Have you been able to talk to the families?
Yeah, this RT was anybody. Yeah.
Good afternoon, Zena Stenvik, Superintendent, Columbia Heights. Our staff members who are here with us today are in connection and contact with the legal counsel for the families. So we're working on it. We'd like them back.
Governor, I'm wondering if, session is somehow 2 weeks away. Are you thinking about any sort of relief or funding package for everything from food security for families who, can't go to school or work? Cities are saying their law enforcement offices are under strain. Anything along those lines that you're starting to think about?
Yeah, and our legislative team is here, and we're working with legislators who want to get this done. I mean, our dilemma will be in a session is that we have a split legislature, and the leadership in the House has not said a word about the children. They've not said a word condemning the killing of Alex. Won't even address it. Continue to dodge the question. So my concern is that in our agencies, we're trying to do what's allowed through the executive branch to be able to address some of those things. We do need, I think, some legislative fixes. I do think we need to, especially with our schools, understanding, and I don't think it's sinking in yet, the immense costs that are being put on these very tight budgets. Simultaneously, all of our federal funding is being, what's the term? Impounded illegally. So the assault you're seeing is one level. The assault that we're seeing in the agencies and the ability to do the things that the state will need to do in this crisis is also being undermined. They are doing everything they can to destroy the foundational pieces of what makes Minnesota great. And we are getting zero help from Republican legislators who are going to have to be a part of this. And look, I continue to say this. Not a single one of our leadership at the federal level have said a word about this. Being Tom Emmer, being the number 3 person in the House, has all of the capacity to do something about this. And all we hear is disdain. We hear cruelty towards the people who were victims of this. So I think we're going to have a tough legislative session. I will say that, because until you address the honesty, this is no political discussion. And I'm not in a debate with you on this. We need a full capitulation by the Republicans to talk about how horrific this was, ask them to get out of here, and then help us clean up the mess that they created. Yeah.
What are your thoughts about the Pete Stahl bill to withhold federal funding and turn over voter information?
Well, it's not going to happen, and that's the extent of Pete Stauber's intellect and legislative ability, so we'll move on.
Question for the AG. Is there any legal recourse that will come of the targeting of children and their families on school grounds? Is there anything being considered in that realm?
Yeah, well, let me just say that our lawsuit against Operation Metro Surge covered all of these things. And I just want everybody to know there's a little bit misunderstanding about the posture of the case. The court did not give us the emergency temporary relief we were looking for, but the case moves on. And we are seeking expedited discovery and look forward to a decision as soon as possible. But the reason for the court's decision is because no president ever marshaled the forces of the ICE or anything else to attack one state this way. So there's really not much in the area of precedent. And so we believe there was enough for the court to make the decision that it did. It ended up ruling in the way it saw best. But this case marches on, and it does have everything to do with the relief that we're seeking to protect our children, our schools, and many other public institutions, and the rights of every Minnesotan. So.
Yes.
With NBC, sir.
Yes.
A follow-up on the body camera question. Body camera programs only work if the video is released.
Yes.
Do
Yeah.
you have any confidence that the administration will release video when tragedies happen, when controversies happen, when the public demands it?
No. And you could have backed up that when you framed that question, you have any confidence in the administration? No on everything. On every single thing that comes after that, because they've proven to be the case. I mean, and I don't even understand from the politics of this. This is just stupid politics on their part, because I would guess that 90% of Americans are like, we don't believe you're going to release the footage, and why did you bring this up after the fact when they should have already had, and it's state law in Minnesota that you have body cameras on and you turn over that footage. So no, there's absolutely no reason. I still have yet to have them confirm to me who killed Alex, what their names were. If I'm not mistaken, you can help me on this. Have they confirmed that those names that were released are theirs, or they did it? No, they have not, right? Governor of Minnesota had two of my citizens killed, and yet we don't get a confirmation on who did it, what's happening, and at this point in time still saying we have no say in any of the investigation into that, let alone potential prosecution. So again, I think we're the frogs in the boiling water, and man, it is bubbling now. This is foundational, as the Attorney General said, to everything this country is founded on. And this assault on Minnesota, for whatever false reason they want to give, and it continues to change, they don't care. And I would say what's most terrifying about this is if you ask the question, do you have any faith that this administration will honor court orders? No, I do not. I do not. Go ahead, Eric.
Governor, do you have concerns about the midterm elections? How will you run?
Not because of how Minnesota does it, because Steve Simon and the nonpartisan or Republican and Democrat who run these elections in our counties, in the states, as it is by the Constitution, as the 10th Amendment guarantees, and Minnesotans' elections are the fairest, the freest, the most secure, and the most well-attended. And that makes us a target. And that is exactly why the President of the United States said, not they, he said Republicans should federalize the election with at least 15 states. When is the President of the United States receive a nightly call from an FBI special agent raiding a voting section with the Director of National Intelligence? I don't know, I always used to talk to my students when I would teach them about history. I said the challenging thing about when an event happens is it's kind of like trying to read when it's up close, and you get a little space as time goes by and you're able to understand. The rest of the world is seeing this for what it is. All of us need to understand that too, and I will again make my appeal to the other 49 states and territories. We're just the test grounds for this. And what works here and what doesn't work here, and a softening or whatever, they're going to find out. As of today, I got to be honest with you, less smoke on the ground, but I think it's more chilling than it was last week because of the shift to the schools, the shift to the children, the shift to this type of stuff. So, yeah.
You talked, you sort of kind of rephrased your own words back to me, but I'd like you to clarify when you said about your phone call with Paul, and you ended that by saying it's your expectation you might start to see a shift kind of
Yeah.
within the week. What makes you confident to say that, and what shift do you expect to see?
The shift I expect to see is pretty simple. A clear reduction of these forces immediately back to pre-levels and 100, 150 that were here on a normal basis, working on the worst of the worst, working with the State Department of Corrections for decades, all of the normal processes on getting the worst of the worst out of here, letting us be part of these investigations, the BCA being part of the investigations, and then a reduction in this attack across us. I would hope that would be there. Look, we all know that the only reason Tom Homan's here and Bovino's here because Donald Trump was watching TV last Saturday, a week ago, saw the horrific aftermath of Alex's murder, and told them that this doesn't look good. He even used terms like, well, you know, that guy's stock's not as high as it is anymore. This is reality TV for him, and he was losing in the ratings. He's going to continue to lose in the ratings. So my expectations on this is not that they found any heart, not that Liam being down in a measles-infested facility with no safeguards, Minnesotans being terrorized. None of that's making a difference. What's making a difference is a district that they won by 17 points got flipped by 14 points the other way. And those are the things that happen. So that's our expectation. Yeah, we'll go.
That is your impression is based on what Mr. Holman said to you, not your view of the state of play. What he said
Yeah,
to you is
it's my yes, a combination of both. That I don't see how they continue on with this in any way that makes any sense, both politically or operationally for them. And I also think that they brought someone in who may be able to gain some control over these rogue agents and bring this thing back in. So look, we'll see. That's my expectation. And what I would just say on this is none of this matters unless it's proof on the ground, unless there's changes. That's what we have to see. All right. Thank you all. Grateful. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, brother.
Fantastic.
What stopper?